What up, Berna? What up, Bomb D? How do you guys doing? That's what I'm talking about, Sparks, favorite streamer. Thank you. We got the new update of Scratch Visualizer going today. We're gonna see how that works. Hopefully it's a little more stable. It's got a few more features. It looks like it looks like a nice update again. Let me see. Sparks. Okay. Those are requests from Masterclass. Got it. What up, Mr. Def Switch? That's right, this is the hip hop and spot. What up, Christofferson? Here we go. Dang, Ben Bamboo, that's a big ask for like short notice. You might have to put that in the masterclass. I actually have broken down an entire juggle from from Kentaro's winning routine before. So, yeah, definitely not out of the question, but um that's like a big project. um and I've broken down the 45 idea from Fly's 2025 routine. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, so what up, Cutting Corners? How you doing? So today, um, I have to remember not to clear my throat as much. I do have a bit of a cold or something, but I was getting somebody was going in on me in the comments last time for clearing my throat too much. So there we go. I just did it. Um, anyways, let's see. Let's check the scratch visualizer before I get to. Oh no, what's going on here? Yeah, let's check it before I get too deep into things. There we go. It's a little low though. Let me change the position of that. I like how they added this feature. I think it might have been my suggestion, but regardless, it's a good thing to have. There we go. There we go. What the heck? What are you saying, Berna? Yeah. Well, here's what I'd say, Ben, about breaking down like a full routine. Like basically like try to give me something more specific than that, because like basically, break if I was like gonna actually break down the entirety of like Kentaro's routine, it would take like months and months of preparation, and then also take like weeks and weeks of masterclass. um which is pretty tall order. Yeah, I can it's definitely it's doable, but yeah, just it's a big thing. um yeah, for honestly, for specific routine breakdown stuff, like specific juggles and scratch routines, that is something I do a lot in my private lessons. If that's something if somebody's like really wants an exact routine, they want it broken down, then yeah, I do that um in private lessons when it's more like specific for that. But I can do bits and pieces on stream. Just have to scale how big it is, um let me see. So, today we had a few requests in the masterclass ideas and in the chat. We're open to more. It's just going to be basically like scratch technique stuff so far. Let me just double check. Yeah, no more masterclass things. So, let me see. I'll just jump right into it, and we'll go from there. So, Def Switch asked in the masterclass suggestions about an auto flare, which right off the bat, the name auto flare makes my blood boil a bit, because I have no idea what that is. That doesn't sound like a real scratch, and I don't think it is a real scratch. But he included 2 videos, so we can at least break down what's going on in the videos. And if you want to call one of them an auto flare, you can do it. So according to the videos that he linked in Discord, this is why I hate scratch names and stuff like that, because I think both videos, both videos were called an auto flare, but both were different techniques. Yeah, let me see. The first one is okay, yeah. So basically, there's two different, I suppose, like definitions maybe. Both start like an autobahn. Yeah, exactly. So from what I could suss out, there's two different ways of doing it. The one was like this. And then the other was I think that's right. Let me just hear. Oops, I need to turn the beat off. I'm gonna listen to how they're doing it. Yeah, okay. So in that one video, yeah, they're doing a bunch of combos. Is this what they're calling auto flare, or is it only this one? Maybe it's only this one. Okay, it's just the bottom one. All right. Well, yeah, the auto flare. Basically, it's just it's an autobahn. So if we took out the middle, it's literally an autobahn. That's our autobahn, and then the two-click flare. It's just stuck in the middle of it. So yeah, I like to think of things more like simplistically, like instead of being like giving this its own unique name or whatever. This is just an autobahn two-click flare combo. It's slightly weird because the combo starts like in the middle of it, but as we've learned in previous sessions, usually if you start in a strange place in a combo, we'll usually just call that like a different phase, or sometimes it's like a delayed version or something like that. This one I wouldn't say is delayed, but it's a different phase of the combo that's similar to like a delayed. But essentially, it's exactly an autobahn and exactly a two-click orbit in here. So if you combine the two, or if you can do both, then you can probably do the technique. So essentially it starts with a autobahn. So that part is just the autobahn first 4 notes. But instead of going back into like go back to the beginning like a 6-note autobahn or continue it like a 9-note, you do a 2-click orbit going reverse. And then you do the 2 notes back to end off the pattern. And now it's let me see how they do it in this video. Okay, yeah, I just want to make sure. So basically, they're doing it essentially like a like a triplet when they're doing it. Um, that seems like kind of the way to do it. Um,
Yeah.
that's Spell's flip of a Mob Deep track. So so yeah, basically let me see. For doing this, we got the northerners both are in the chat. So essentially this combo I think kind of works best as a triplet. I don't know, maybe I'd have to hear double time to hear like what's going on there, but essentially it's 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. So I'll see if I can give you like like some tips on doing it. So it's like I said, it's like a triplet type of flow is kind of how it's working. Yeah, it's because it's 12 notes. Obviously, like in practice, you can do any like odd note combo. You can do a triplet or straight or whatever. But some combos sort of lend themselves to a certain speed or something or certain timing. I think this one's definitely easiest to learn as a triplet. The other thing I'm noticing and feeling with this is I talked about different phases, and the 2-click in this scratch doesn't feel like this phase. Doesn't feel like a reverse 2-click. It actually feels like starting on this phase of the 2-click. I'm going to draw it out. So it actually feels like you start with a forward, like it's a very subtle thing, but phase is important with like how it feels and where it sits on the beat kind of thing. So we're not just going backwards right on the 1, we're going forward back. Are the terms scratch and pattern and combo interchangeable? No. I wouldn't say I would say no. I would say scratch is like a technique, like a single scratch. A combo is it has to be multiple techniques. It can't be a single scratch. And then a pattern is more vague than both of those. I'd say a pattern can be a scratch or a combo. It's more like the rhythm and everything. Auto flare is definitely a combo. It's literally just an autobahn and a 2-click flare. Yeah, that's why I hate that it has its own name. It shouldn't. Which scratch is in the middle? That's the auto flare. That's what we're doing right now. So yeah, one of the ways that you can kind of feel that is this phase. This is something that will come with time. If this doesn't make sense, then it's fine. I've never heard the auto flare either. Somebody just posted in the masterclass. Def Switch did. So yeah, I don't like a lot of these techniques. Like I do them. I've done them, but they're just like to me just a combo of like I do autobahns in 2 clicks, however many ways I can. So yeah. So if you've never heard of it or if you stumbled upon it already, that's good. But yeah, the basically the way that I can feel that the phase of the technique is with this forward movement is because there's these accents that you can put on it. That kind of help do it. So it could help to just learn the 2-click phase if you're having trouble with this. Just learning this phase of the 2-click or doing it on the beat. Right, so I'm putting that accent. Da 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 da. Got it? And then if you put the first 3 notes of the autobahn. Yeah, there's different varieties of it. I was starting to put some waves in there and stuff, putting some accents in it. But yeah, that's your auto flare. Is that answer the auto flare question? And then was the top one a question too, or was that just in the just again? Oh yeah, Def Switch wanted that one. Took a screenshot of the whiteboard the last time. So that one is basically just yeah, it's like I guess people call it the 8-note autobahn. This one I like to second. I'll draw it out and I'll show you guys something that I think is interesting. But yeah, essentially yeah, the technique of the wave is different from a scribble, but the end result is it basically creates a scribble. Yeah, it's kind of interesting because until I got the scratch visualizer and started using it, I thought the wave was more of a tear, but you can see on the visualizer, I think. Wait, the line is too thick. We're too thick. Let me go, let me thin it out and then let's see here. Yeah, so you can see it's a weird scribble. It's sort of a reverse scribble almost. You can't see? Why can't you see it? Yeah, so it's a weird scribble is what it kind of comes out as, but it's like a wave movement. Anyways, the eight note autobahn or whatever we want to call it. Oh no, the we're too thin now. We gotta make the line a little bit thicker because is flickering with the green screen, I guess. Bam. Oh, let's try number 2. That's still kind of thin, isn't it? It's probably my green screen settings to some extent, but or there's some, I don't know, there's something going on here. Bam, bam, bam. Okay. Okay, so this one is, it's like an autobahn, and then you do sort of a reverse slice at the end.
Wait, what? Waking, rocking, waking shit that cut like a gillet. It's just like waking shit. It's just like cut like a cut like a
Yeah, so techniques like this are sometimes good to practice on a vocal, because so your baby scratch should be like a baby forward and then like a reverse baby. And if you're using 2 syllables, you can really hear that.
Like a guillotine.
Yeah. So that's the that's the gist of it. Any questions on that one so far? So yeah, it's this one is 8 notes, so probably don't do it as triplets. When you're learning it, it's going to be pretty tough. But yeah, this one's kind of interesting. I actually haven't done this one as much because I have sort of an alternative pattern that is very, very similar. I've mentioned this before, but I always find this one interesting because I didn't realize this until I notated it and started like trying to break it down. But then when I flip it upside down and then I look only like from here there to there, it's actually like a reversed chirp prism. Yeah, so that is like a chirp prism. So it's actually the exact same like rhythm, exact same kind of timing and everything, but just yeah, a different way. The autobahn, I guess, is the closed fader variation of it, and the chirp prism is like the open fader. The chirp prism is the way that I've always done that rhythm, so I'm definitely like most comfortable with that. Um, but I think you can basically achieve the exact same thing doing either way, and there's probably slight advantages and disadvantages to both. Um, Off the top of my head, I feel like going from like swing flares and like um, from regular autobahns and stuff, you'll be able to do the right side up version better. But then going from like open fader like chirps and open fader boomerangs and 2-click orbits and stuff, this one's a lot more comfortable. Like one of my classic combos is this.
Cut like
That kind of stuff, that's basically just a chirp prism and a chirp 2-click orbit. But when you put it over the syllables, so it lines up with the syllables with all the notes, then it sounds cool. Yeah. So, yeah, I think for this stuff, I think that we're pretty set on those combos. What up, Mr. Lizard? Now, Mr. Sparks, if he's still out there, asked a question about what's the difference between an OG flare and he asked a two-part question. One is a lot easier to answer. The difference between an OG flare and a 2 forward 2 back transform. So that's the 2 forward 2 back. So that one is a lot easier to answer, because because essentially the 2 forward 2 back transform has 4 notes, so that's the biggest difference. OG flare has 3 notes. Now, there is a sort of OG flare related technique called the crescent flare. And this one is very similar in terms of rhythm and stuff, but there's still a difference. But then his second question, Sparks' second question, what's the difference between an OG flare and a 1 forward 2 back transform? So when we draw it out, that's like the easiest way to just like kind of visualize what the difference is. The transform has an extra click. It's the same, like it doesn't have 2 extra clicks because the start and the end are the same click when you loop it, but it has an extra click. So basically with the transform, with all transforms, pretty much, you get as many notes as you have clicks. So we want 3 notes, we have to click 3 times. Make sense? So you get three notes for 3 clicks. Now the OG flare and all flares Basically, the reason always that you would choose a flare over a transform is because it's less clicks, aka less work, aka it will go faster. Essentially, it will, like, you can always flare faster than you can transform, or should be able to. Because there's a less click, so you're getting 3 notes for 2 clicks. So even that right there, if I try and transform that, it just starts falling apart. Like there's basically my transforms are capped, like, well, they have 50% more clicks, so they're probably like, close to half the speed or something. So yeah, basically the 1-4-2 back is just it's an open fader technique. You get 3 notes for 2 clicks. And yeah, the essentially that's sort of the idea with all flares. Like with all flares and all transforms, you can get the same rhythms in theory. So there's musically, like, in theory, there's not really a difference, but in practice, because the flare gives you this extra note and it's easier and faster. After a certain speed, for certain rhythms, you're just going to switch to flares. Yeah, that's, like, for the most part. There is ways of double time transforming, but a lot of times, when it comes to double time transform patterns like this, when it comes to to all your double time transforms, there's like a subtle thing that's happening in there where I'm switching the speed. I'm mixing in slower notes. I'm mixing in single time notes within the double time. And to double time transform, that's like basically essential. Like that's sort of the only way to double time transform, or to sustain it. Whereas with flares, like, you can do double time without slowing down the entire time. Yeah, just like that. I put stabs. What do you mean? Stabs don't visualize great with the dots. Why is it moving too? That's so weird. I see it moving on my screen. Is it moving for you guys too? Like the dots are like jumping around on my side. Like I'm hallucinating. But yeah, stabs stabs don't really they don't really translate on the visualizer. Like, they translate better when you turn the dots off. Yeah. So there is our it wasn't an OG stab combo. It was a double time transform stab combo when I was doing the stabs. Because in general, again, this is just a generalization, but an OG flare is an open fader technique and a stab is a close fader technique. So you, like, sort of can't combo them. Or in general, I just, like, wouldn't combo them. I'd just do some, like, I'd do a different technique or different combo kind of thing. Yeah. Like if I was doing OG into stab. I mean, I guess there's some combos where it's probably still is easier, but it's a little bit awkward. Yeah. Let me see. I think that's all the masterclass stuff, or all the ideas that we had. What else you guys got? What else is, or do you guys know everything yet? I think it was somebody, maybe Genki, was asking about scales. How to do proper scales with chirp layers. Is Genki still there? Or whoever was asking about that? Yeah. Scales. Basically, yeah, I'll show you how to do chirp layer scales. But essentially the idea of scales, the goal of scales is to get as many pitches as possible, and do it as smoothly as possible as you go up. So if I do I'll do chirp scales just to start. So, oh man, can I? I know I can pause this. I was hoping to put it back. There's a way of moving it back and forth. 1 second. No, it didn't work. Oh no, I screwed everything up now. There. Let me see. Burnett, you're gonna get the band hammer with those types of requests. Whatever, Kim. So yeah. Basically. That's what changed. My bad. 1 second. There we go. Oh no. Wait. Oh gosh. What happened? The visualizer's been it's something's gone wrong with it. I'm gonna reset the visualizer. There we go. We're back. We're rocking. Let me just tweak the baseline has to go up a little. I think baseline has to go here, and then line thickness lower, and then cool. We're back. Okay. Wickedest Lizard. What's your question? This is a stock fader on the S11, yeah. I would never use an in a fader over a Magvel, I don't think, nowadays. Yeah, the chirp scales are too much. But yeah, essentially, here, I'll do one-click flare scales too. So yeah, that's the way of practicing like scales and pitching, and essentially, um, when you're practicing scales, you're trying to focus on there's a few kind of goals with it, but one of them is trying to get as smooth as possible and get as many pitches from your lowest to highest as you can. That's a good goal. Um, the other thing is to make sure that um, that your pitching gradually increases so that you're going a um, so you're going a little bit up each time, and and you're not going down, so it's not jumpy. So you want to make sure, yeah, you're gradually increasing your pitch, but you want to make sure it's going up, 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 not up down, like not sort of shaky pitched. You want it to be going smoothly in the same direction, and then back again. So those are first two things. So gradual, making sure it's not jumping up and down, and then the last thing is to make sure that you're trying to get as high as you can and as low as you can with every technique. So um, the faster you go, the harder it's going to be to pitch things. So you want to basically um, always be fighting to use as much of the record as possible. Like in theory, at any speed, if you've got enough control, you should be able to use basically the entire record, like up to like 12 o'clock and then back down. Um, and then when you're going, yeah, at any speed, you should also be able to just do it like super microscopic. So, the lowest pitch you want to fight for is like something like this. It's like your whisper range, and then the highest you want. You want that really aggressive, like yelling kind of range, right? And then you want to practice going up, like starting in one place and building it, and then back down. um, and yeah, there's a whole bunch of reasons why scales are important, but I think it builds expressiveness and it actually helps you learn techniques faster because it helps build hand independence on a technical level. Like basically, you're moving the record different distances, but your fader has to stay the exact same the whole time. So, yeah. Let me see. Um, one second. I'm trying to catch up on the chat. So lizard, your question is really hard to answer because the Oz sample, like you said, have a key that sounds in aligned or in tune with the Oz sample. The Oz sample doesn't have a key. Not every sound has a pitch or a key. The Oz sample is atonal. So there's no pitch or key to the Oz sample. So don't even think about the key of the Oz sample. That's your brain is in the wrong place. You're overthinking it. For the chirp flare, Genki said, for the chirp flare, are the chirp flare the same distance when they scale? Absolutely not. No, you have to increase the distance or lower the distance while keeping the timing because that is how you increase the pitch on a turntable. That's one of the unique qualities of our instrument is that distance and pitch are related, or distance and speed and pitch are all related. Distance only matters if you're keeping the same timing but going further than the pitch is raised. So you have to change the distance. That's the only way to do scales. Or I guess if you didn't change the distance and you're getting scales, it's because you're speeding up and you're actually going offbeat. Yep. Scales with all your scratches. Exactly. It's one of the most important things to practice. It just forces you to do it in different ways. Like every technique you want to be able to, your goal should be able to be able to do every technique in like dozens and dozens or hundreds of ways. And yeah, one of the first easiest ways to do that is just get scales down. Like you should be able to sort of hit like, you know, 10 different pitches of chirps. Um, like going up and going down, and that's like just at one speed. And then when you slow it down, you might have even more pitches than that, and you can speed it up. So you have 10 pitches per speed, so you get 4 speeds down. That's 40 different ways of doing a chirp, and then you mix and match and do different speeds in different directions, and so that doubles each one, or triples even. So there's 120 different ways of doing a chirp. It just goes from there. So that's what your ultimate goal is with scratching and techniques. Is like, you're not just trying to like learn the chirp and then check it off your list and be like, oh, I can do a chirp. You're trying to chirp in like a super like musical, expressive way. Which, you know what, I haven't done this for a while, but I'm gonna bust out I'm gonna bust out a favorite classic scratch track of mine. Not of that I did, but it's one of my favorites. I'm gonna play this for you because to me, this was definitely an ear opener for myself when I first heard this track from Return of the DJ Jeff, not Jazzy Jeff, just Jeff, just the normal Jeff. DJ Jeff changed the scratch, and basically he does like almost only chirps and stabs, and listen to the sound he gets. One second. Well, we're not going to listen to it if it's not going to play. Just a second. Where's the audio MIDI? Supalupicus, you're on the right track, but that is a little, you're a little off. Um, it's definitely a perfect fourth, not a perfect fifth for the 33 to 45. And yeah, it's inverted when you do the opposite. We actually have a link that I posted a while ago that just breaks down every different pitch percent thing there is, so that you can do entire scales just using the percent to semitone conversion. One second. For some reason, my normal YouTube audio is not playing, so I'm just gonna get I'm just gonna get download the track real quick. We'll be able to listen to it. But yeah, I think it's a very, very good example of essentially how to make your chirp super expressive. Yeah, but when yeah, for scales, when I'm talking about scales with scratching, it's more of like a analogy. It's not like some people get this mixed up. When I saw the chat going in Discord, it was like not really not it was going a little bit off of what I mean by scales. Everybody can call them their own thing, I guess, but essentially we're not looking for exact pitches. Like nobody can like do like, do chirps and like play like a C major scale or something. That's just a little bit ridiculous to ask of somebody. So what we're actually trying to do when we're doing our um, chirps and stuff, and our just whatever technique you're trying to do scale, is just increase our expression. Just go like higher and higher in pitch and lower in pitch, and yeah, it just makes you more versatile and more musical, and you're sort of able to sort of get more different feels from your techniques. So you can make it aggressive, or you can make it chill, you can make it like more funky sounding, and yeah, mix and match, get different accenting, just yeah, more control in general. Okay, here's DJ Jeff change the scratch.
And introducing on the wheels of steel, DJ Jeff.
Be a DJ, you gotta do your best. Have your own kind of style. Not like the rest.
Okay, this is your Chirp masterclass right here. There you go. Yeah, so basically that whole section with that it sample is like almost exclusively chirps with some scribbles and releases thrown in, but he's not even really doing like stabs. He's more just releasing the sample at the end of the section. But just listen to like how sort of almost like vocal and rap like he gets his rhythms. Yeah, his phrasing too, this is a big one. So his punctuation or his rhymes, like like he's getting all this like pitching, and he's resolving each section, and so it doesn't just sound like he's just shredding indefinitely. Like he's putting endings on each thing. No, audio doesn't work through the visualizer. Visualizer reads the actual movements here. Yeah. So yeah, it's so good. I love this. I might be able to recreate some of it for the visualizer. I'd have to break it down piece by piece.
Not like the
One second, I gotta slow it down for a sec to get the actual parts. One second. Yeah, it's tricky figuring out if he goes in the next pattern forward or reverse. Yeah, it's hard to loop it because he's doing, or yeah, he doesn't loop it like this in the actual track, but I'll do it without the first release. I keep missing the one accent that he does, but it's yeah, it's that last one. He does a drag on the at the reverse. What do you mean, Wicked Lizard? What are you trying to say? What expectations for this performance? What's wrong with this for 30 years later? It's that last accent is really cool, but tough. Just a second. What's this beat again? It's Dred Scott. Something. Dred Scott. Is it second. Yeah, he didn't produce this beat. I found that that this was a this was a an instrumental. Oh yeah, back in the day, called sped up. back in the day. um, well, I don't, if you can elaborate more, maybe, Mr. Lizard, but yeah, I I don't know. I think you're thinking about it in the wrong way. If somebody entered flip or flop and did something this good, then they would win like everything. Yeah, it's still amazing by today's standards. Good art doesn't age. Doesn't become dated. Here we go. Whoa, what the heck? Oh, that's one of these. Yeah, what's it? I'm trying to figure out. He has this really cool pitching. I haven't tried it in a long time, but I want to do the pitching that he's doing. Yeah, Miami bass definitely has a bunch of this style scratching for sure. That's the one. That's yeah. This is what's tricky is he's doing a reverse triplet into a drag. No, I still can't do it. I've got to practice that. Even from old stuff, you can learn you can learn things from, yeah, even super classic stuff. A paradiddle is not. No, I don't think it's a paradiddle at all. No, it's just a triplet. It's basically this. But he does it in reverse. So this is sort of the typical way to do it. Like with forward chirps, but he's doing the opposite. He's doing a reverse triplet into a reverse drag, which is very tricky. The 3 dots on my records, basically, yep, I can explain it. I went over this many times, but essentially, the gist of it is that if I cover most of the record, I cover that, and essentially, essentially, with the record, as it's spinning, I only look at like that sort of 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock on the record, and then in my head I switch which color that I want. So for me, I only really use 12 1 2 3, 12 1 2 3, 12 1 2 3, green, yellow, red. Instead of using the full 12 o'clock or full like record, like 12 o'clock, or sorry, the full clock face. And the reason for that, it's a little bit convoluted, but essentially the philosophy behind it, which I think is kind of effective, is basically before many moons ago, before I was, that's actually a phaser scratch. It exists already, Christofferson. But many moons ago, before I was a DJ, and before I like not before I scratched, but before that was my main thing, I used to play online poker professionally. And when you play online poker professionally, or when you used to, nowadays it's not really viable, but when it used to be a thing, you would play like 30 games at once. You wouldn't just play one game like a peasant. You would play 30 games at the same time, and you basically have to make a decision every like second or something on your hand and stuff, right? When you have 30 games. So how you actually did it, physically on the screen, was you would stack all of the games on the screen in the same spot, and so the windows would keep popping up as you have decisions, and your eyes just look in one place. So you just look where the cards are, and you're just looking at in one place on the screen, like 2 square inches or whatever. That's the only part your eyes look, and that's basically the only way you could do it to like play that many games is by basically making it so that your eye movements were so small and so like efficient that you can just like, your brain doesn't have to like track, your eyes don't have to track and look for stuff. All the information you need is right in one spot, and so you can make decisions quicker and be more efficient and, yeah, basically be better. And then when I started getting heavy into beat juggling, I kind of noticed that sometimes for certain patterns, I would kind of lose them because my eyes would be tracking the sticker around the record, and sometimes it'd be in a place that I didn't really expect or didn't see, and or I'd look in the first place I look, it was over here, but it's actually sort of behind my hand. I find that especially with the right hand on the record, sometimes your hand covers the sticker. Um, so then I kind of came up with this idea of basically making it so that my sticker is only ever in this position and I only ever have to look here. So I'm looking here and I'm looking here and I'm only looking at two spots on the record ever when I'm beat juggling and when I'm scratching. And yeah, I did that by changing the color of the sticker and putting multiple stickers so that when the sticker's going around, um, it's yeah, it I can just change which one I'm looking at rather than trying to follow it into this other territory on the record. So yeah, it's all about keeping your eyes and where you're looking just super efficient and yeah, restricting it to one place on the record. Yeah. Um, what about 100 BPM hip hop, Berna? But yeah, that's essentially the reason for it. Um, yeah. Um, and 3 stickers, like you could use 4, you could use 2. I just found 3 is like a nice kind of medium. Um, you the only like the deciding factor, I guess, in how many stickers you use is it has to be like beat matched to the record. Essentially, it has to be like 2, 3, or 4. Like, um, yeah, you want to kind of follow the rotation of the record and split it into like thirds or quarters or something. Um, and yeah, but then yeah, basically, to give one sort of caveat, some people I think misinterpret my sticker system, and especially with beat juggling, like people think like, oh, you just like chop the beat up and like put it on the stickers or match it to the stickers or something like that. Um, but you definitely don't do that. And yeah, that's sort of the I don't know, the lame way of like beat juggling is like having to edit a track and stuff. Um, I like yeah, basically the short answer for juggling and like sticker placement and stuff like that um is that eventually you don't need the stickers. Like stickers are a bit of training wheels where like having exact positions and stuff is really nice when you're learning, but for me nowadays it doesn't really matter. Like I would need I need some sticker and some reference. It can't just be like blank, but it doesn't have to be exact. Like it doesn't have to be on the stickers. It can be a little bit before, a little bit after. Like you can just like kind of deal with it on the fly. um, it did, Lizard, but you know, it's just because something wins doesn't mean it's dope. That's all I'll say. There's lots of winning routines in history that are not very good. Um, yeah, I'll leave it at that. Um, do I ever watch the waveform when I scratch? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's a terrible habit. Um, there's a couple reasons. One, well, firstly, um, that didn't exist for like 3/4 of my time scratching. So you know it'd be pretty tough for the for all the time that I practiced without waveforms um, to look at them. But then the other thing is this is something that that I think like a lot of if anybody who's like ever been like any sort of hardcore gamer will definitely get this. Um, but there's a lot of things where this applies, but essentially like screens have a latency no matter what. Like unless it's like a like a crazy like low latency gaming monitor or something, like with these screens and stuff and like our laptop screens, there's such a latency. And for music, it's like it's not even like a it's you can't, it's too much. You can't like look at a waveform um and scratch in real time. Like it's just going to make you sloppy and offbeat and stuff, because essentially the screens have like a latency that is far more than what our ears can detect. So yeah, essentially like your ears are way faster than your eyes. um not like even if the screens were perfect, it would still be the case. So your ears are like, you're like it it's yeah, it's hard to explain, but if you do production, if you've ever dealt with it, even if you have like, and scratching is like this too, like even if you put the like Serato settings up to like 10, I think it's 10 samples or something like that, maybe it's 10 milliseconds, I'm not sure how they measure it, but even if you put it up to 10 in the settings, like it's going to feel like trash, and like you're not going to be able to do stuff. And it's like even just such a tiny amount of latency that if somebody watching you scratch, like if they watch you, they wouldn't be able to even detect the latency, but your ears can. Like when you're doing it, it feels like you're drunk or something, because when you move, everything is just like a split second behind. And we're dealing with such small margins with scratching, like the click placement on like even a chirp. Like if there's a little bit of latency on the record when you're chirping, all of a sudden your chirp click doesn't line up, and then extrapolate that to like flares and everything. Yeah, you just can't do it. So it's like, yeah, looking at the waveforms is like, yeah, it's not like a it's a bad habit, but it's also just sort of like possible to do well, and also unnecessary. Like, why would you need to look at the waveforms? Just look at your stickers. Learn to navigate the stickers and the 12 o'clock system, and or the clock system, then you'll be able to do it. Um, dang, yeah, it could be internally. Would they had phase or something? Yeah, 5 milliseconds is too much. Definitely agreed, Lizard. Um, yep. Thank you, Trollbot. Thank you for the questions. For sure. For sure, Noka. Yeah, we don't really, it doesn't really cause phasing for us because we're not like doubling the signals and stuff, but yeah. But that is a thing. So, yeah, hopefully that answers it. It's yeah, not really it's not really doable. But yeah, with most stuff, like most turntablism stuff, um you just gotta learn the hard way. Not that hard, but yeah, you just want to learn stuff kind of the um the proper way. And then yeah, yeah, it doesn't take that long to navigate stuff. Like beat juggling, like if you I think that there's something with like, I don't know, patience and attention spans and stuff, uh especially nowadays, but like I don't know. I feel like if you beat juggle the same beat for like 20 hours, which if you're making a juggle, you should be juggling a beat for 20 hours at least. Um, then you'll realize how you don't need the stickers anymore. Like you'll have like the distances and the timings and everything. Like you'll have them like burn into your soul. And yeah, a lot of like scratching and juggling is just sort of like, grinding and practicing with the same stuff until it becomes like um becomes burnt into you. What up, Flava? been following me before Red Bull. Well, I hope so, because I've never done Red Bull, so that's right, Noka. Nice. Scratch nerds, yeah, clever and creative scratch nerds, definitely essential listening. I was mentioned in Red Bull? Who mentioned me? AI made my Red Bull performance, yeah. No, thank you, Flava. Yeah, but I only did DMC though. Red Bull was too corny for me. They said I should. What? I don't even know the video you're talking about. What video is this? Sure, a laser, Christofferson? There's a laser, a taser. Okay, yeah. Oh, you know Trapman's ice cap addiction. Still to this day. Do the judges use it? Oh, no way. This is too cutting edge. The scratch visualizer is like, it's like just, was it maybe 2 years old or something, but also like it's only the most recent update where it seems like it's been held together by more than just like toothpicks and elastic bands. Like it crashed all the time before. It hasn't crashed. Actually, wait, no, I already had to reset it. It crashed once in the stream already. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, so okay, lasers is just the throwing it back and forth. Tasers is just, so the tasers is actually a what's the word? Portmanteau of 2 clicks over lasers. But this is a debate for whatever reason. It doesn't seem like it should be a debate, but Tables likes to argue over everything in the Discord. But basically, nowadays it's just clicks over lasers. Like pretty much, there's a bunch of different taser combos. It's just doing whatever number of clicks, whether it's 2 or 3 or transforms. there's like your taser combos, and then a phaser is this. Nice. Well, that's some of the best teachers you can have, Flava. Yeah, so phaser, taser, laser. I think that's all of them. Notation of the taser. Well, we don't really notate tasers. Like a taser. Well, the thing is, it's hard to it's hard to notate a laser. You know, it just like a laser in notation. It's just a baby scratch, really. It's just like it looks very close to a baby scratch. Is there something somewhere where there's all the names of the techniques? I don't think so. Maybe that's something. Maybe there used to be, like, at a point in time, there's this thing called the Ever, which had all the names. Yeah, and it's it's interesting thinking back. There's like, yeah, there used to be this thing called the Ever, and it had a bunch of techniques, some that aren't even that popular nowadays, and you can find a bunch of stuff on there. But then Scratchlopedia came out, and it had a lot of techniques too, but not all of them, and it had different ones, and basically it renamed a bunch too. So tasers actually had a different name. What were they called? Just a second. So there's laser, and then let me just see here. Yeah, actually, I think it was just called a flare laser. Yeah, 2-click flare laser orbit was something that was on the Ever. Let me see. Oh, do I do? Yeah, I switched the crosshair to the other side. Yes, I'm Hamster. What are quasars? Is that actually a thing? Quasar scratch. Sounds like a Qbert thing. Yeah, no, we don't support that guy around here, Lizard. Let's we're yeah, we're gonna delete that comment. Yeah, he's not a good dude. So we're not gonna not gonna support the one who shall not be named. Yeah, second. Oh, Quasar's a rapper. Yeah, so Hamster cell. I mean, Hamster is just basically like you reverse the fader, so you're clicking the closest to your you're clicking closest to the turntable. But then it's not really any different than it's not any different than than regular for as far as like what like advantages or disadvantages, but yeah, I basically just copied Mixmaster Mike and Qbert, and they scratch reverse, so I copied them. There's historical reasons why people do that, but yeah, no. Do I think it's easier than regular? No. There's there's very wait, no, Qbert beef. No, I didn't say anything about Qbert, but the there's a link posted. Um, where's Kevin Adam? I reverse for mixing as well. I reverse for mixing. Emo, if you're asking who's shall not be named, that's defeats the point. Yeah, I mix reverse, and I actually use the upfaders reverse too. Like my right upfader is my left deck. Yeah. So I do everything super reverse. There's Mr. Kevin Adam. Wow, Kevin Adam shows up after his moderator duties, or after they're already not it anymore. Let me see. Let me find a different beat. Is it easier to No, okay, I'm gonna be super blunt, but basically there's zero difference for hamster and regular. Like this is people overthink hamster versus regular. Like there's psychological maybe a difference, but here's the thing. When you do a chirp hamster, you move the fader right and then left. And then when you do it regular, you go left and then right. And then when you do a flare, you go right and then left, or a regular left and then right. But like there's always a left movement and a right movement, or a right movement and a left movement. Like you do the exact same thing. There's always both directions. It's not like one way you only have to do half the movements or something. Like you do the exact same movement, you just do it in the opposite order. But it's the exact same amount of movement, it's the exact same timing, it takes the exact same speed. Yeah. And yeah, basically there's like effectively no difference to doing it open or closed fader. And the way that you can tell that there's not very much difference is that no matter what scratch style you can think of, like left hand record, open fader, or left hand hamster, right hand hamster, left hand regular, right hand regular, like there's somebody out there who's like an incredible like maniac at every technique that there is, you know. So yeah, so basically the way I think of it is like if like you know, if there's somebody out there who can do every single technique in every style, like there's an example of somebody doing it like a 10 out of 10 or an 11 out of 10. Like there's basically no limitations. It's just the only limitation is how much you practice, essentially. Yeah. I mean, it's the same. It's the same. Regular and Hamster it's all the same. If you have to be open before the start of some things, you have to be closed for the start of some things too. Hamster. Um, yeah. Genki said like probably one of the only differences is that um, the crab for Hamster is like more. It's a little bit easier to get an extra note out of it, like open fader. That's actually something interesting. Somebody was asking me how much thumb pressure I use to crab, and I tried it, and it turns out 0 thumb pressure. Emo, do you spell my name wrong on purpose, or what's going on? You've said vexed multiple times. A producer called Sticks hip hop beats. No, I don't. Yeah, you don't need your thumb to crab. Your thumb's overrated. You just literally just use your fingers. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there's no thumb needed for crabs. Yeah, thumb's overrated. You use your thumb for hydroplanes. Try crab regular style without thumb. Well, that would just be silly now, wouldn't it? It's all good, Emo. It's all good. Let me see. The Euro scratch is more consistent. I mean, I think the Euro scratch is very different than a crab. It's not really a crab. It's a different thing. I can do the Euro scratch. That's one of the advantages of scratching the way that I do. It's a little bit easier to set the Euro scratch up. Yeah, the Euro. Dicing and stab combos. I mean, well, dicing is just transforms over tears. So basically you can do anything you can do anything Um, basically any tear combo and just put transforms on top of it. That's how I'd practice dicing. But yeah, it's not like, yeah. Do I think Euros are, I mean, like, not really, if I'm honest. A crab is like a a rolling technique. Like, can they both go fast? Yes, but you can also do other stuff that's fast without those either. Um, but yeah, the Euro scratch is, I think, very cool, but it's also like not very practical, you know. Yeah, dicing. I don't know. Just add transforms over top of tears. I don't know if there's really combos. I don't honestly do dicing all that much. I think I do it sometimes unconsciously, but yeah, I more so just put accents under stuff. Can I scratch over the DMC weird beat? Yeah, it's just a loop of it. Decipher. Good ear and recognition. There's a 3-click combo that fits, I think.
Cut like a guillotine, 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 cut like a guillotine,
Cut like a guillotine. It's cut like a guillotine. It's just like cut like a guillotine. 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 Cut like
Something like that. I don't know. I've never actually really practiced on it. I just chose it for the throw curveball, the DMC final. Yeah. Hopefully that wasn't too bad. Yeah. What else did I pick? I had this beat. This beat's really tough. Yo, Flava, keep an eye out for our next TTC event. We threw a event before DMC, and we threw DMC this year in Toronto, but we're going to throw more Toronto turntablist community events, scratch battles, and just jams and stuff. So, yeah, keep an eye out. Chirp. Yeah, it's definitely doable, Trollbot. Yeah, in the future, maybe that will be a bit more of a viable thing. But yeah, they can do that already. Like this software, basically, can do that. I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this software itself can just do that right now as we speak. I haven't done that with it, but I think you can replay and swap samples in it. But it doesn't do it through Serato. It does it on its own. Do I use phase? For shows, yeah, but phase just skips less, but it's definitely not as accurate. So yeah, for shows, it's sometimes like a good compromise because you don't want to deal with skipping, and a lot of venues and stuff don't really have they're not really set up with like turntables in mind anymore. They don't have bass isolation. So well, for example, when I play festivals, for whatever godforsaken reason, they'll put like a subwoofer on the table as like a monitor or something. Like I don't know why this happens, but I guess there's some like brain dead DJs out there who want this, but like they always give you a subwoofer like as a monitor or like part of your monitor, like as if I want a subwoofer like right beside me, right? But they do that. So obviously, when you have a subwoofer that's friggin' like on the table or like beside the table, your needle's going crazy, and you can't really like be like, yo, turn off just the subwoofer. Like, so anyways, so phase is good for those environments where people just like don't even remotely think of turntables when they're setting the environment up. But in general, if I can, I will always use needles. So for like a lot of bars and like smaller shows that aren't too insane, then I will needles, but yeah. do I use headphones? To mix, but not usually to scratch. Yeah, there's not really like a whole lot of reason to use them for scratching or routines or any such business. Where am I? But yeah, I'll use them to mix. Let me see. Yeah, we're gonna raid. We're gonna raid out of here. I gotta go eat. Pretty good masterclass though. Thank you guys. Make sure that if you aren't already, to jump in the Discord. And yeah, no Flipper Fun this Sunday, but masterclass next Monday. And then Flipper Fun the next weekend, I believe. We'll play it by ear. Jump in the Discord to keep up to date on everything. And yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for the questions and for yeah, hanging out. Keep on scratching, mate. All your flares be tight. Get in the Discord if you want to keep up. If you're not sure about the schedules and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's where it happens. That's where you know if there's been anything changed. Or if you want to get in Flipper Fun, you want to battle, then get in there. You got 2 PDX 3000 MK2? That's amazing. Those are like the best decks. You might need to sell the DDJ thing though and get like a S11 or something like that. All right, the raid is kicking in. I'll catch you guys next time.